Trusts have been around for the longest time under the English law. Singapore adopted the English law. So in my own experience, I've also encountered trusts that have run for many, many decades. Current law is that a trust could last for up to 100 years, which means that at the end of the period, the capital of a trust would need to be distributed out to the whoever would be the ultimate beneficiaries. But you know, on a world scale, there are some jurisdictions where they have abolished the need for trust to have a perpetuity period. In other words, Singapore law could be reformed one day to allow for trust to go on for forever. Just like companies, if you set up a company, it has a perpetual existence so long as it is solvent. So the same goes for trust, possibly down the road.
So these changes of the law also applies to changes in tax codes. Inheritance tax is one example, but where it relates to real estate, there are all these buyer stamp duty, seller stamp duty, ABSD, and if the real estate that you're transferring to your children, because who doesn't want to make a bit more money, right? So even the richest guys, sometimes you see that their bungalows have got a loan on it, but at the point of transfer, because we don't know when we will leave, right? If the estate, the real estate moves with debt on it, and then you have got things to consider around total debt service ratio, because there's a home loan there, and your child happens to be in the middle of his Harvard MBA and he has got no income, and then he's receiving a $10 million house that has got a $3 million outstanding mortgage. So these are some of the complications and issues. So think through all the steps one by one.
Gone are the days when you welcome the inheritance of any property passed on by your parents. We would like to think that when they do give you some real estate, it is unencumbered. But one of the issues that has caused is that if you happen to take a 20% inheritance of the family home left by your parents, that might cause you a problem when you go and buy your next property because of the way the ABSD rules work, right? Under the rules, even if you own a 20% fractional interest that you have inherited, that becomes a one count for purposes of working out your status when you buy your next residential property. And that could pose a problem because suddenly you end up having to pay a 7% additional buyer's stamp duty. And when you're a young person, that's not going to be a very good way to start perhaps a marriage when you go with your new wife and want to buy your first property for occupation. So these are some of the things that could be potential pitfalls in the will making. So sometimes we would tell parents who wish to simply give away the shares of the family home to their few children, right? We will ask them, would any of your children be looking to buy their own property, at some stage?